Hello everybody, and welcome back to the news review for Motel. Now this was another good episode that I really like. I liked a lot of what they did with it, and every week I'm like, I'm afraid they're going to throw that one bad episode in there, or one that's not necessarily bad but not really that good. But so far, especially in this season, I haven't witnessed anything like that. So, at the end of the last episode, of course, Cody's dad is killed accidentally by Norman, and we know that's going to become a matter with police, which is how this opens up. And I like how they did. I think they did a really good job with building the suspense of, was Norman going to be found innocent? Was he going to be found guilty? And if he was guilty, what would the charges be? Would it be murder? Would it be manslaughter? And what would the consequences be? A lot of the things they did that I liked really well was how dark a lot of the settings were. Inside the police station was very dark. The rooms were barely lit. It had a dark, foreboding atmosphere. And that would really be how it would be in real life, The police station would be dark and have a foreboding atmosphere, especially in such a drastic situation where you don't know what's going to happen. So, I really like how Norma portrayed her struggle through this. How Vera Farmiga portrayed the struggle through this. And how, at first she didn't know what happened. No, all she knew that was that Norman, in the last episode we had seen, where he stormed off because he was really pissed off at her because she said something about the blackouts. And I'll get into more in the little thing I noticed about how she uses the blackout stuff. But she goes to her new job in City Hall because she got the chair. And one interesting thing that they throw in there, and they didn't elaborate on too much, they just gave us just enough to wonder, is it going to become something? Is it going to become a problem? How much are they going to elaborate it on in the next episodes? Which I think there are only 3 left, so shit's really about to get started. Was the guy that called Norma into his office, at first he was really nice, but then he started suggesting, how did you get this chair? What did you do? He's definitely suspicious. I'm pretty sure he said, I think he might have said something about Nick Ford. But I'm sure either way he knows about him. And that was nice. That was a little suspicious. I'm really wondering what they're going to do with that. I don't think they're just going to let that lie. Because they were interrupted by Romero, who comes in and tells Norma what happened. And another thing I liked is Norman's struggle in all this. He feels really guilty about what happened. Like when he's in the room with Romero during the final questioning, he knows what he did was in self-defense. He knows that he didn't viciously or purposely murder. Well, he didn't really murder him, Murder really says that you had intention to kill somebody. This was an accident. And while he knows that, he still feels guilty. He feels guilty for what he did. He feels guilty for what he did towards Cody. And that really, Freddie Highmore does a really good job of showing that stress and showing how it's just more being built up on what he already has to deal with. With finding out about the blackouts, with, losing his driver's license because of it, because of Norma saying something, because of the tension that's going up between Dylan leaving, the tension that's there. And One thing I noticed through this episode while I'm talking about Romero is I didn't see that he was really hiding evidence. That's not how I saw it. But I found it kind of strange, but very to his character, that he didn't want to look too much into. When the other officer, I don't remember her name, was really doing her job and submitting stuff and doing what she was supposed to do, Romero kept saying, "No, why did you do that? That's not necessary. You don't need to do that." If it was up to him, things would have just been as they are. Of course, we found out later that they found Norman innocent. But that was kind of strange. Again, very much to his character, and like I said, I'm really starting to like Romero. And if we are having a season 3, I did find out about that, so I'm hoping that the next few episodes that end this season, they really build on Romero's character and he comes within strong in the next season. Sure, that'll be a while till we get it, but I'm totally excited for it. Well, like I was saying, I like how Norman is really feeling the stress of everything, and how Freddie Freddie Highmore plays this. You know, his hair's messed up. He's nervous. He's always he's not like moving around and jerking around, but he really can't sit still. He's jittery. That's what I'm trying to say. He's really jittery. So, I'm just going to jump around here, because I'm trying to get this done and do Fargo too, which will be tomorrow night. I'll do Fargo tomorrow night, which I really did like, and I'll get more of that when I do that actual review. But one of the things I liked is how I found Emma to feel really guilty about what happened. And in her actions, I could see, and Olivia Cook plays her really well, how she kind of felt guilty for what she did, because she knows that if she hadn't told Norma, Norma wouldn't have confronted Norman, Norman wouldn't have confronted Cody, and the whole accident wouldn't have happened. And I also like how Norman has forgiven Emma, and he says, and it's kind of played out jokingly in a way, but it's played out serious too, how he says, "I can't trust you ever again, but I forgive you." And Emma kind of chuckles and says, "Whatever," or something. And I thought that was strange. I think it's kind of played half to be a joke, like he's joking, like, "I can't trust you anymore," and half really serious, like he really can't, because of what she did. But he also admits that he knew she was doing the right thing. And one of the lines I really liked in the exchange between the two characters was, he said, "Emma, thank you." And he said, "For what?" And he says, "For believing in me." And she is one of the few characters that really strongly believes in Norman in a really certain way. Norman believes in him, Dylan believes in him, but in their own little aspects, in their own little worlds. In Norma's controlling world, and Dylan's, you gotta get away from normal world, and you could be something. If you got away from Norma, you could be something. So, another thing that's really going to put stress on Norman is Cody. Cody's leaving, and with only 3 episodes, I don't think we're going to see much of her, if any. Maybe she'll come back in season 3, or maybe something will happen and she'll have to be brought back. But she makes it very clear that she's not going to text Norman, she's not going to keep in contact with him, and that's really going to weigh him down, because something was really getting started there. Despite, him getting mad at her for, Emma almost drowning, and for telling Emma about the blackout, which led to Norma being told and led to everything happening. But I don't know. One of the things that I was mentioning a few minutes earlier was, I really think Norma, this shows how controlling Norma is. For the most part, she doesn't want anybody knowing about Norman's blackouts. I liked her talk with Cody. I didn't think it was as good as I thought it would be, but I still liked it. How she's, telling her not to tell about the blackouts, but through Cody's expressions, you can't really tell if she is or not. Of course she doesn't, unless we don't know about it, but you can tell by the attitude of everybody that she doesn't. And But the only person she tells is the driver's ed guy. And that's a way to control Norman, because the only time she used it was when he would have been able to get something that would have given him more freedom. And being able to get him away from Norman more. And I noticed that. Again, fair farming, a place that would roll so well. Sorry. And the relationship is done perfectly. And one of the things I love about how they've done this series is I think they've timed and paced the whole, breaking up, the getting more distant and distant between Norma and Norman. I think they timed and paced it very well. They're so different from when they first started out, when they were really close. He still calls her mother, which is really weird, but all the really weird things, as enjoyable as they were, are starting to die down. Like the whole weird hugs and everything. And I don't think it's going too fast. I don't think they got pissed off at each other too fast. I don't think it's going too slow and dragging. It's not quite to the boiling point yet, but it's getting there in a really good pace. And now that Norman knows about the blackouts and he's really questioning it, that's just going to get worse. And it's definitely leading up to something at the end of this season. And of course he says, who am I, Mother? What do I do? And that's that's a big fight they have, even though it's been proven that Norman acted in self-defense, or at least that's what the cops came to. At least that's what Romero came to. And, like I said, he's not hiding evidence as much. He's not really looking into it as a normal cop should. And I really like that. But let me touch a little bit on Zane and Dylan before I talk about, what happened in the end that was big and surprising, and it's definitely going to lead to something next episode. So, Dylan, Zane knows that his sister told Dylan to take care of business and do the business without him knowing. And Zane's like, that's cool, buddy, that's cool, that's fine. She gave me a job right at the jail, I'm cool with her, I'm cool with you, yada, yada, yada. But he has those 3 menacing guys throughout the episode. They don't talk much, if any. I don't recall they did, but I could be mistaken. They might have 1 or 2 lines, but it's definitely getting more menacing as it goes along. And so they decide to go for a ride, and they go to the other drug dealer's place, the other families. And I'm wondering which family belongs to which. We know basically that there are families, but is Nick's family also Dylan's family? I mean, not Dylan's family, but Zane's family? I don't really doubt it. I'm sure there was probably something that said they weren't, or suggested they weren't. But I'd be really surprised and really disappointed if they weren't. I'm almost positive they're 2 opposing factors. But, this is where really see Zane is really messed up. He doesn't want Dylan in charge because he asks if Dylan's with him, because they're going to go raid the base. And that's showing again how unstable Zane is, how insane and violent he is, and how he's not really suited the position. And, Dylan says, no, I'm not with you. So, Zane punches him and knocks him down. He goes to Remo, and he asks him the same question. And Remo doesn't have, the strength to stand up and say, I'm not with you. He says, yeah, I'm with you. So they go in, and, you see Zane, I'm not saying, but you see Dylan get up, and he's, struggling around. He's definitely really hurt. And he falls back over, and I think he's just knocked out. I don't know if he's seriously injured or something. I'm sure he'll wake up, in the field or in the hospital or maybe in the police station. And, he won't be that hurt, but it might lead to some more trouble. But I wonder if Remo gets killed. I wonder if, Zane sets it up to where it was an accident, where it was really more on purpose. Oh no, I couldn't stop the other family from shooting Remo's dead, yada, yada, yada. I want to see if that happens. But as my last point to wrap this review up is the big thing at the end that I'm really interested to see what happens, because this isn't something that Romero can push away. Is the other cop, like I said, she's doing her job, she's looking into things. Um, she finds out that the sample left in Blair Watson, the semen sample left in Blair Watson, was Norman. We thought it might be Nick. We thought it might be somebody else. Or Gil, rather. We thought it might be Gil, maybe. I think we suspected Norman in a way, but we weren't sure until now. We know the last sample, the unidentified one, the only one that was unidentified, was Norman. And with this, with the other cops knowing about at least that one cop, remember, we can't just push it away or hide it under the rug. He's going to have to act. And I'm really surprised. I'm not surprised, but I'm really looking forward to what that's going to bring. So, again, great episode. Everything's done so well. The style, how it's shot, the acting, the characters, the relationships, everything that makes this show great is still going strong and not wavering off one bit, in my opinion. Of course, some episodes are better than others, and this wasn't an episode that I thought was as good as some of the others, but it was still really awesome. So, Monday is going to be intense. The following, Castle's back. Of course, Bates Motel Warehouse 13 is back. So that's going to be a big thing. And then Fargo Tuesday night. And I'll get the review shot for the first Fargo episode tomorrow. But until then, peace out.